Good afternoon and welcome to Wholesome Roots. I am headed down to the garden after a brief rain shower. And I am hoping that I can get some plants in the ground that a friend brought us. And also some seeds I have brought with me that are late summer varieties that I can still get a crop from if I act quickly and get them in the ground this weekend. I've got this one bed cleared and ready to go for planting some stuff. As you can see, the rest of the garden has been let go for the season and allowed weeds to come in. That's not ideal, not a good idea, and I hope to get them pulled before the seeds set. With my health issues this year, I've really had no choice. I have had to let the garden go. I don't recommend doing it this way. Hopefully next year I'll be so much better that I'll be able to teach you guys a lot more about gardening too, because that's where my real lifelong passion has always been. We got a few things growing over here in this bed. We've got some peppers that came back from the goats eating them. A couple of peppers growing down here along with the weeds. Then that looks like an okra. You know, we had okra in this bed last year. I wonder if, I bet you that it did. And okra just seeded itself. That's lovely. I love okra. Can't eat it now due to my strict diet, but I do love it. This sugar cane is doing amazing. I don't know if you can see the ants going up the leaves. The leaves are covered in aphids, and the ants are mining the aphids, which is, get off of me, ants. Don't bite me. They're biting ants too. So I'm not treating it because it's not affecting the growth of the plant. The plant is still able to grow pretty well, even with the aphids on the leaves. So I'm just letting it go naturally. Hopefully some ladybugs will find the food source and start harvesting the aphids for me. Here we've got the Amazon peanuts, which might be the only peanuts I get to eat this year, so I'm really looking forward to them. You can see where the deer came in. Deer or goats, I'm not sure which. Came in and ate a bunch of the plants. Hopefully we'll still get a few. Then in here we have the adzuki beans, which are beginning to dry on the pods. So these will be a delicious, wonderful treat that I can eat. That'll be really nice. We don't have a lot of them, just a few. The horseradish is doing excellent. It's got a lot of holes in the leaves, but it doesn't affect how the root grows. It's still a healthy plant for the most part. So now I have this space to work with. You see little baby seedlings of weeds are already popping through. So I gotta get the ground worked before this little seedlings get too big. You guys, were you playing? You're both covered in mud. You playing with each other? Sweet pups. Best friends. Hello, Fancy. How are you, my precious? Looks like Jenny Bloom is the smartest to figure out how to get up on the big new spool. Is it fun? You should all try it out. What do you think, kitty? You should all try it out. Oh. Truly has figured out level 1. Will she advance to level 2? Let's see you do it. Come on, girl. Jump up there with Jenny Bloom. I like my white new pines. They're cute. Very healthy looking. Great conformation. Smart, playful, fun. All the qualities you want in a goat. Come on, you can do it! Time, you're really really starting to look pregnant. Your belly's getting rounder and rounder. Thyme is due for the fall. Kidding. We tried to breed Rosemary too, but I don't think it took. She seems like she came back into heat a couple of times. Oh, speaking of in heat, does that mean you're in heat, Rocky? But Thyme has not come back into heat and her belly is round. Yay, October 15th. So right when I get back from the Homestead of America's conference, I'll be delivering a baby. I saw that Ryan left the cabinet door open from this morning, so I came over here to close it. I closed the door and I see this. And then I look over here. Oh, she's not peeking through anymore. And her head was right where that light spot is looking at me. There she goes. Let's see. Watch. Let's see if this gets her moving fast. Hopefully she's gonna help keep the rat population down in here. Love my snakes. All right, enough distractions from the garden. Back to the garden we go. I didn't get a video of me doing the hard manual labor. Not because I didn't want you guys to see that I actually can work hard sometimes, but because it was sprinkling the whole time. It is so muggy out here because of that rain and the sprinkling. But you can see I got my bed prepared. So the first step I do is I go over with the hard rake and I kind of form it into a hill and hit any of the weeds that are coming up. Then I take my hoe and I drag that down the center to make my center row. And then I do a row on either side. And that's how we're gonna get it planted. So the first things I need to plant are some pepper plants and two lanky tomato plants a friend gave us that we're hoping might survive. And then we're gonna plant some squash, cucumbers, and green beans by seed because we have 70 days left. And those should be maturing and creating fruit in 50 to 60 days. So I'm excited to hopefully get a harvest in before our first frost. Our first frost is expected in 70 days, but it often goes weeks past that without a frost here in Georgia. I do have some frost fabric, so if we just get one night of cold weather, I can cover them easily in this bed. And it sounds like it's raining on that side of the barn now. The rain did just come from that side, now it's coming from that side. This weather does not know what it wants to do. I tell you what, one thing I really noticed with just that little bit of hoeing and raking, oh my goodness, my hands. If you know anybody with arthritis or if you have arthritis yourself, you probably know what I'm talking about. Just the littlest thing, even just opening a jar is almost impossible for me right now. I'm hoping this anti-inflammatory diet is going to relieve some of this pain I've been experiencing with my Hashimoto's because it is not fun. I think the pain and the exhaustion and the brain sickness has been the worst part for me. Everybody's a little different, so it might not be the same symptoms for other people, but those have been my major battles. And I'm ready to have them back or gone. Yeah, see? Brain. I am definitely not trusting this weather app today. It is some dark clouds in the distance that I'm not trusting. So I'm gonna quickly get this done. I'm running out of steam anyway. It's really muggy. I thought I was gonna be okay because it's not that hot. It's in the 80s instead of the 90s. But oh my goodness, heat is very hard on me due to my condition. So I've got some tiny little baby peppers and two very lanky tomato plants. They don't even look like tomato plants, but they are. I'm hoping that these do well so that my family can enjoy them because I can't eat nightshades anymore. At least for a while, until I know what's going on with my body. So now I'm gonna put some seeds in, and those are gonna be the last summer crops of the year. To be quite honest, this little break from the boys has been quite nice too. They've been very rambunctious, and their loud excitement, playfulness is beautiful and wonderful in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it triggers anxiety for me, and I'm like, stop yelling, So it's nice that Ryan's off for the weekend, and I'm so grateful that he's such a hands-on dad. He loves spending time with those kids, so he gladly says, go out to the garden and get some garden therapy in. It'll make you feel better, and I'll get the boys having a good time and out of your hair for a little bit, which is really nice, because we're not like other families that have people come and pick up our kids for the weekend for a weekend vacation from our kids. I am with those kids 24/7. They don't leave my side any day of the week. They're with me every day of the week, every hour they're with me, and I'm happy about that. But it does get hard sometimes mama just needs a little bit of a break. It'd be nice if it was a little more often and a little further or longer time frame, but I'm grateful for the breaks I do get. Look, y'all, I told you fall was in the air. Do you see what that is? Is it in focus? Come on, focus. All right, here we go. Oops, stayed in focus for 1 second. Did you see it? Did you see what it was? It's a pecan. Our pecan trees are fruiting. Sorry about the focus there. That's one thing this camera really doesn't do very well at, is when I try to zoom in on something and focus. It's great for most any other things I do, but focusing in on something, unless it works just right and the focus works, when the focus does work, it's a beautiful picture. So you just have to be patient, I guess, and keep trying. I'm gonna get these seeds in the ground before that rain starts over here again. All right, so first things first, I've got 3 different types of cucumbers. I've got cucumber homemade pickles from the Homesteading Housewife. It was in a seed swap that I did. And I've got some Market More cucumbers, and I've got some Boston pickling cucumbers from Baker Creek. So I'm gonna get those 3 different varieties planted, and then we'll move on to the squash. All right, it's getting darker. I'm gonna move on to the squash. I've got early yellow crookneck, black zucchini, and zephyr, which is a really cool green and yellow summer squash that I've grown many times before, and it's always done really well, so I'm hoping it does good here. My squash seed were a little old besides the zephyr, so I seeded them a little heavier than I normally do, so we'll see how the germination is going to be. Then moving on to the beans, we have Bush Blue Lake 274, Harvester, and Green Crop. And we're gonna finish off the rest of that bed with all green beans. Yum, I love green beans. And they're not on my list to avoid. That's a bonus. The squash and cucumbers and the green beans are all things I can eat, so that pleases my heart very much. All right, before that rain hits, I'm gonna show you what I do. So when I dig these trenches for my seeds, it makes it super easy to go back and just push that hill over, and my seeds are now buried. I do that for each of the hills, and then I go back over and make sure nobody's poking out, and it's my favorite method of seeding. Typically, when I'm at my best health, I would now be going on to pulling all the weeds in this bed and planting my fall crops of carrots and beets and such. But my body is telling me that it's time to stop, and I have to listen, unfortunately. That's hard for me to do. I don't know if you guys can see, there is just a buzzing of pollinators on these so-called weeds that we left. Beautiful creatures buzzing and humming about. I love these hawk moths, they're so cool. And then there's a butterfly down here. Oh, the hawk moth comes in and the butterfly's gone, but he was just over here. But yes, there's been little buzzing all over these beautiful flowers while I've been working. And for that, I'm grateful for the weeds. They are quite beautiful. And there we go, all tucked in and ready to grow. We have rain this evening. We have 90% chance of rain tomorrow. So I have been blessed with one less task I have to complete. and that is watering in my seed. I highly recommend watering in your seed anyway, even if you're expecting rain, but due to my physical state right now, I can't do one more thing, so I'm gonna go in. I hope to be doing a video very soon about how I go through my seeds and organize them, and what seeds I'm gonna be growing for the fall. So stay tuned for more gardening videos to go along with the goats and the chickens and everything else that I love to teach you about, including foraging. I will get back to my Foraging Friday videos very shortly. I have lots of great ideas and lots of things coming into season that I really want to talk about. So I'm hoping that my brain has some good days that I can get that film done for you. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time at Wholesome Roots.